Today I am going to be talking about the 5 things that I feel you need to know when you're going to be getting sister locks. I just really analysed and thought, do you know what? No one told me about this, so I thought let me shed some light on the Sisterlocks community for those who may be interested in getting the hairstyle and let you know what you're in for. Number 1, drum roll. Dun, 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 dun. I'm not a nail person. I don't go to the nail shop and get nail extensions. I don't get anything done to my nails, to be honest. I'm just kind of like a breeder. I just like to leave my nails, like if they get really long, because my nails they don't grow in the nicest shape either, so I would just cut them down really low. But since getting my Sisterlocks, I notice that my hands are constantly in my hair. Like I'm always feeling them because there's like certain areas where there was like really, oh, I found it as well. I might be able to show you. So there's areas where like hair, this was literally like nothing. Oh, can you see it? So that was nothing when I got my Sisterlocks installed, and it's actually started to grow back. So I'm always like feeling the different locks, the different sizes, because they're really tiny at the front and then they're slightly bigger at the back. So my hands are constantly in my hair. But what I've started to notice is that when you have those little nail snags, it can be really damaging for your hair. So I noticed like when I'm flicking my fingers through my hair and then I've got either like dry bits on my fingers or my nails are kind of like chipping or they're like snag, it's pulling at my hair. And I'm constantly now doing my nails, I'm constantly filing them. Like I literally have to have a nail filer by my bed because it always seems to happen, and it probably has happened all the time, but because the way locks are, your hair's not loose, so your hand's constantly going through your hair, it's going to be snagging on the locks because anything can catch onto the locks. And I did kind of pick it up because when my loctician was installing my locks, she kept stopping like certain points and filing her nails and cutting stuff off her nails, but I never thought anything of it. It was only till, like I said, my hands are constantly in my hair because I'm just so obsessed with my locks. And I've noticed that I always hear that little snag, like where the nail's either broken or chipped. Because if your hands are going to be in your hair constantly, it can be damaging, because if it's pulling away at hairs, it could mess up the locks. So that is one thing that you do need to be a bit cautious of. Your hands, they need to be in top shape. So for me, I need to buy myself a manicure kit and start to look after these hands because I don't want to be damaging my Sisterlocks. So before getting my Sisterlocks, I wore mini twists for 3 months straight. Like throughout the time of doing my research and everything, I'd wore mini twists, and my mini twists were just the texture of my loose natural hair. It was soft. Then the day after getting my Sisterlocks installed, I stopped off at my mum's and my mum must have touched my hand. She was like, oh, it's stiff, it's hard. And I was like, oh my God, like what is that? And then from there, I actually started to notice that it was really stiff. It's really softened out now. It's not, I wouldn't say it's completely soft to how my mini twists were, but I would say that it's softened up a lot more, because you look at pictures and Sisterlocks look beautiful, and they are beautiful and they look amazing, but they look soft, they don't look hard. Like you wouldn't look at somebody's locks, especially after install, and think, oh my God, they're like really hard and sort of like brittle kind of thing. I did kind of put it out there into a few groups, and the response was that after a few washes it does soften up. So just be mindful that the feel and the touch, there's gonna be a bit of stiffness with your Sisterlocks. When you get Sisterlocks, people are gonna be staring very intricately at you.
They're like, who's that girl?
What is that in her head? Because you just don't know. You see this style, you know it's not braids, you know it's not twist, you know it's not some sort of extension, because you can obviously tell, well, I hope people can tell that it's your hair, but it's just these small, tiny things in your head and people stare. It can be a little bit uncomfortable because obviously you're trying to get used to having your sister locks. It's a dramatic hairstyle change, I feel. So to be stared at while you're trying to get used to something, you're like, oh my God, do they like them? And you do get people obviously who are confident and open enough to ask you what they are, and a lot of people have complimented me on how beautiful they are, but you do get a lot of stares. If you're a person like me who just drags on their jumper and rolls around on the floor, and you might be just doing your exercise at home and stuff like that, you're not thinking like, oh, put something on your head. You're just gonna be doing these things that you usually would do. Locks catch dust. They catch dust and things get attached to them. Even though they don't have products in them, things get attached to them. It could just be, maybe you haven't got a good towel, you know, like sometimes you buy them towels, especially like from IKEA, and then you got all this white shit in your hair. Like, you cannot afford to have them mishaps with locks, because for some reason it's like things, they don't just like drop onto your hair, it's like they get embedded into your lock. And imagine how tiny your sister lock is, and then you've got this fluff just like embedding into it, like almost locking into it. It's really hard to get out. As even my loctician she said I had like some fluff at the back, and she got eyebrow tweezers and she was like plucking it out, and I was thinking, oh my God, like imagine that was like in the whole of your head. That would be an absolute madness. When I first got my sister locks, I was decorating, and paint, you know, paint just gets everywhere, especially with the roller brush, it flicks everywhere. And I must have just been really like getting into it, and I was like, because I noticed that I didn't have nothing on my head, and I had all like paint splash on my face and everything, and thank God nothing had gotten into my hair. But you just have to be really, really careful with things getting into your hair, because if you're going to be having your sister locks in for a good decade, imagine stuff picking up over decades, like things just getting into your locks. It could be really, really difficult to get out. And for me, it's just like, I'm very OCD, so I don't like seeing stuff in my hair. When I do my exercise now, I just make sure I've got my headscarf on. When I'm sort of putting my clothes on, I just wait till after to take it off, because I don't want my hair getting full up of fluff. And I was just under this impression that, oh yeah, you get your locks, like, yeah, I can do whatever I want. But no, you cannot do whatever you want. Your grey hairs are gonna be apparent. Yes, they're gonna be apparent. So if you decide to dye your hair before you get your sister locks, then fair play. But you're still gonna have to wait a certain duration of time before you can colour your hair again. So you're gonna have that period where the colour grows out and you're gonna have to face those greys. So for me, I'm almost 40 and I haven't got massive amounts of grey hair, but I have got a few here and there, and I usually tend to dye my hair at least twice a year. I dye it black because my hair is also an off brown, which I'm just like, nah, sorry. So I normally just dye it like twice a year, but now I dyed it, I think, a couple months before I got my sister locks, so the dye is really stripped away from the roots. And when I'm in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, you're getting grey. And it is really one of those sort of wake-up calls to reality. Obviously, once your locks are settled and they do start to lock, then you can dye your hair. You can go for any colour that you really want, really, to cover those greys. Or you might just want to embrace them, because I do see people with grey locks and I just think, wow, love them. Not sure if I'd be ready to do that for myself, but I just love it, looking at it, seeing it on other people. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it was very informative. And just so you know, it's not something that you're gonna actually experience on your journey. It's just an observation from my journey so far that I thought that I'd like to come and share with you all. But the journey is amazing, I promise you. So thank you and see you next time. Bye.